My name is River Guyberson. I'm one of the owners here at Century 21 Thompson & Company. We have two locations, Red Bank and Middletown, although they're both technically in Middletown, but we like to say Red Bank. And I've been in the business for 12 years, almost 13. And yeah, how about you, Maureen?
I've been in the business way too long to talk about. And I'm one of the owners here at Century 21 Thompson & Company as well. And I'm looking forward to a nice conversation today.
Gary Thompson and Century 21 Thompson & Company. It's just weird, the noise. So anyway, all right, I know.
You'll get used to it.
So I've been in the business for a little over 23 years, I guess. And me, River, and Maureen founded the company back in the last day of 2015. And it's exciting. We brought Mike on, which is awesome. And I'm excited to do this.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm Mike Fabozzi. I'm a broker also with the company. I've been with you guys for 2 years.
A little over, yeah.
A little over 2 years. Been in the business almost 10, which is scary to say at this point. Yeah, so I run the commercial division also with Century 21 Thompson & Company. And, we got a lot of great things coming up this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the things that we're talking about here is basically staying in touch with your clients, client database, how to manage them, and how to get referrals from your database. And I thought we would just sort of go around and say what we do and how we've been successful in actually converting leads from our database. So, I think we should start with the queen, who's Maureen, who's like literally kills it on the database. But so what do you do? First of all, actually, I think we should start with the basics.
Okay.
How do you build a database if you're a brand new agent? Like, who do you even add to your database?
Right. So if you're a brand new agent, you got to just make a list of every single person that you come in contact with, whether it's who cuts your hair, who teaches your kids, who you grew up with, who's your mom's neighbor, who's like anyone that you come in contact with should be on your database. Then you need to qualify your database by saying who are your top people. Your top people would be people that refer you several deals. Your lower people will be people you really don't want to work with because you did a transaction with them and you don't want to work with them again. So you take them off your list.
So what are the different levels of qualifications that you?
So what I do is like number one, like A+ person is somebody who I've done business with and they have referred me a few deals. It's a very elite spot. So like I only have like 4 or 5 people that are A+. And those are people I do special things for, like they get a Yeti cooler for Christmas or.
Oh, I want to be on your A+.
Right. So refer me some things.
So I have a question. How many people are in your database?
I have 400 people in my database.
400 altogether?
Altogether.
Wow.
And I am not really good at adding to it, which I could have more in my database. But again, you constantly are in there like once a week qualifying people. So people that I just meet, like if I meet you at an open house, I'll make you a C, which means you don't get anything from me, but you're on my list. And then if I hear from you or we connect or I sell you something or you refer me somebody, you'll move up to a B or an A. An A person is somebody who I've transacted with and they might refer me, so I'll keep them in the A status. If they don't refer me in like a year, then I put them down to a B. They still get a mailing.
Oh, they get demoted?
They get demoted. And then there's a new category that we've added, which is the O category, which is an online lead, which basically means they just sit there online. If they transact and they become an actual person, then you move them up or down on the list.
Okay, wait, so go back. So you said A+ is somebody who has referred you multiple people before.
Correct.
An A person is somebody that you've done a transaction with,
and
they have.
I think they had a good experience. I think they would refer me if they had an opportunity to.
Okay, so what's a B?
A B is somebody that I have done a transaction with, but they're not going to refer me probably.
Okay.
But I'm still going to try to get their referrals.
Okay.
And you got to sometimes ask for it.
I was going to ask, how often do you contact these people?
Well, I mail them on the 1st of every month, snail mail, only 200. So the A+, the A's, and the B's get a mailing on the 1st of the month.
Physical mail.
Physical mail in the mailbox. I know that's hard for some of you young people to understand.
What's a mailbox?
Yeah.
So they get a physical piece of mail, and then on the 15th, they get an email that's similar to the mailer. So if the mailer is about like cleaning up your credit report, then the email is going to be about who to contact when you want to clean up your credit report. Something that tags each other.
Right.
And then I drop off things to them, gifts. Mostly the way I keep in touch with people is when something gets listed in their neighborhood. Like most of my database is in the Middletown area. But sometimes like I'll have a friend I'll throw on the list and she lives in like Pennsylvania. And like this one girl called me and she's like, your work is sending me things. And I'm like, I know, I'm sending you things because I know you know people in my area where I do business. So if you know anybody who's moving, I'm going to need you to.
Right. I'm trying to brainwash you into referring.
Right. I'm going to need you to send my card to them.
Right.
Or ask if I can send. Because sometimes if somebody refers something to you, you always want to say like, hey, is it okay if I send my card to them? Because they might say like, hey, I gave your number to my sister-in-law's cousin. But then you never hear from them.
Right.
So you got to say, may I contact them?
Right.
Whatever. Somebody else.
Okay,
talk.
hold on. No, I still want to stick on this A plus A, B. We know what that C. What was C?
C is just a person that you add to your database. So like if I'm
You haven't transacted with them.
No, I'm sitting next to you at the nail salon and you tell me like you might want to look at houses at some point, or I
Okay.
meet you at an open house. I don't really know you. I'll make you a C. If I know you from an open house and I like really connected with you, then I'll make you a B, just
Okay.
because I want to mail you.
So, question about sitting at the nail salon, somebody next to you, you start talking about real estate.
Yeah.
You ask them for their address, their email address, like that.
I'll say, where do you live? Like I usually stalk them later to get
Yeah.
their address and stuff, and then they don't know.
Like I should have done at Panera.
Right.
I know.
Right. You should have said, where do you live? Oh, Middletown? What street? And then you can, like, it's kind of fun because then you go back to the computer and you, like, process of elimination. You pull up the whole street.
Oh, yeah.
And you go,
It's
like,
easy to find
let's
them,
see.
yeah.
Her name was Denise. She lives on this street.
Right. All we need is maybe one initial and what street you live on, and we can find you.
Right.
What do we do with the C's again?
C is just somebody that's sitting there.
What do we do with them?
So
Any sort of interaction?
I look at them. I when I go through the database, like
creepy.
I try to do it weekly, but you know, inevitably a month goes by, and I'm like, shoot, I gotta check on my database because people move up and down. So like, you may not get a mailing from me, and then suddenly you start getting mailing from me because you just referred me
Moved up.
somebody. You
Right.
moved up.
So what's a D?
Delete.
Delete.
A D is somebody that you've had on your list. They're sitting there. They've done nothing for you, and then they just.
What do you mean they did nothing for you?
They did not refer you.
Did
They-
you transact with them?
No.
Okay. What if you did transact with them and you hate them?
Yeah. They also go. They also go on my D's. Like you know who is.
Or
Right,
not responded.
right.
Yes, not responded, or you found out they, listed their house with someone else.
Opt out of your emails.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to delete them, but sometimes you don't, because sometimes they could still refer you, even though they didn't hire you.
Right, right.
It's a crazy thing. You don't know.
Who and how often do you call?
Depends what's going on. So I try to call. It depends who it is too. Like if you're a millennial, like if you're my daughter's age, I'm not going to call you because I know you don't want to talk.
Text.
Yeah, I'll text you. And texting is good too. Texting
Right.
is just as good. You know your audience,
So
you know.
what would you text? Like, this just listed on your street, just
Yeah.
letting you know,
Yeah.
or something like that? All right.
or
That's
if you
what's
really
so easy.
Yes.
You could text the link to the listing, and it sparks a conversation, which is an interaction, which is something other than hey, happy birthday, or
Right. Something of value.
something of
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
It's content.
Right.
It's a conversation that could blow up into something so much larger.
Right.
Absolutely.
And their house is always better than the house that you're telling them about, so.
Oh,
you'll get that
exactly.
too.
Their nails are stronger.
Yeah.
So one of the things that
Uncle Richie.
one of the things that I learned it from Maureen, but Popeyes
Oh,
are
yeah.
huge. I mean, so I know specifically for my client database, we have I have about 60 people that I do Popeyes to every year, and what that means is
You mean Gina?
yes, my assistant Gina does the Popeyes for me. So basically, everyone in my Popeye list, which is not my whole database, it's what I guess
Special
would be
people.
the A plus and the A's
Yeah.
and B's. I don't categorize the same way that you do.
Yeah.
But it would be the people that I think that would, either they have referred me or they're good clients basically. And so every quarter I'm making sure that they're getting at least something from me. and it's topical, right? So for January, we did windshield wiper fluid. For February, we'll do something for Valentine's Day. March, something for St. Patrick's Day. And it's not a lot. It's not a high value thing. They're very inexpensive.
Yeah, that doesn't matter what
Right.
it is, just that you're doing it.
It's the thought that
It's
counts.
another.
Exactly.
It's another touch point. It's a thought that counts. And you would think that you would give these people $1 million,
Right.
from something so simple.
So let's say 60 people. You don't do all 60 people. Does it? It rotates, correct?
Right. So we have a tracker, and it's just basically a Google sheet, and I break it out by quarter, and then I have columns for January, February, March, and out of those 60 people, what is that? 20 people every month get something, and then when the quarter starts over, and the next quarter starts,
The next 20.
then the next 20.
He's very organized.
I know.
Question.
I need that.
A plus, A, B, who gets Popeyes?
I don't organize my people like
Okay.
Maureen does, but for me, I would say I put more people on my Popeye list than probably I should.
Okay.
Meaning that I put people on my Popeye list that maybe have not referred me or would not be considered an A plus
Prospects.
or an A. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have people on my Popeye list that I've never transacted with, but I want to transact with them.
Right.
See, I was going to bring that up too because, like over Christmas, I did those little trees,
Yeah.
and
That was a great idea.
the guy from Pelican, he was like so impressed that I
So
left him a
explain
tree.
that.
Yeah.
So this was a listing I was trying to get, and I talked to him one time, and then he kind of went cold after that. Oh, I interviewed a couple brokers already, so I'm like, oh shit, I'm not just gonna let this one go.
Right.
So I kept in touch with the guy. Every time a listing popped up, I had his email address. He would get that. So then I was like, when I was out doing my Popeyes, I don't have a list like you do. I just have a bunch of them in my car, and I drive around, and I'm like, oh yeah, that person or this person or whatever.
So what do you think of somebody?
Yeah, and so that guy dropped one off to him, and then when I actually had the conversation with him, he said how like that touched him, that I actually physically dropped something off for him around Christmas, like it was big.
Yeah.
And he said that's the reason I got the interview.
Really?
Yeah, and that's happened before. The people in Hazlitt, like the mum, we dropped off a mum. We met these people at the
Absolutely.
car show, the Hazlitt PBA
Yeah.
car show, and I said to Tony Ann, because we were doing a thing together, I'm like, you got to drop them off something.
Yeah.
Like, don't expect them to call you. You
Right.
know, like
Right.
they're probably not ready. So when I kept driving by, and the one day I saw somebody there because it was an estate, they didn't live there, and I saw somebody there. I just knocked on the door. And it was awkward at first, but it turned into a great conversation. And they made a comment about how they got the mom from Tony, from me and Tony Ann,
Yeah.
and that was like huge for them.
Yeah.
So
That's what they remember.
yeah, and we got the listing. She just dropped off washer fluid to them from her and I.
And it's so simple.
It is.
Those
It's
events.
so simple.
That's a good point. So Hazlitt Day a couple years ago, it was the hottest day of the year, most likely. It's either
it's
hottest
horrible.
day
I was
of the year,
there. I remember.
Yeah, hottest day or it's pouring rain.
Right. Always.
And
And we were on the blacktop.
yep, on the blacktop. And I posted that I was going to be there.
Uh-huh.
And someone that I haven't seen in 2 years comes by, and sure enough, they said, we came by, we had nothing to do, we brought our kid, we saw there's something going on, there's activities, and we wanted to talk to you. I was like, oh, well, you could have just called me. But it sparked their mind when they saw my social media posts,
Yes.
and it was an event that had the kids there. There was something for them to do.
Right.
And next thing we know, we got 3 transactions out of it. So doing those events, unfortunately, sometimes it seems like it's
Painful.
It's painful, right? But you have to do it.
Wait.
Yeah.
So all right. So they came to your Hazlitt Day. You had a
We had the table set up for
tent
the
there.
company.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And then how did that come about? The transactions. Was it just because they saw you and they were like, hey, we want to sell, or was it like, was there follow up afterwards that you had to do in order to get that?
So they said, they came there because they saw my post about the event that had the events for children, and they said, this is something for me to do on a Saturday. I'm gonna bring the kids here, and we're gonna go see Mike. And it was like 2 birds for them.
Right.
And they knew that they wanted to do it, but it was something that sparked their mind and reminded them to come to the event, see me. They'll, and I followed up with them afterwards.
Yeah.
And we started to work together, and we got
So
3
explain
different transactions.
So explain the 3 transactions.
Yep. So the first transaction was selling a property. It was a commercial property.
Okay.
And then with that transaction, they did a 1031 exchange and purchased a residential property with that.
Okay.
That residential property they moved into, and then they sold their
Other-
residential
Oh,
property they were
wow.
living in.
Okay.
I have a question. So when they came to see you at the booth, the tent or
Yep.
whatever, at that point, did they say anything about doing anything real estate related?
Yes,
They
yes,
did.
they
Okay,
came
good.
there
All right.
with the intent
They
to
came
talk to me about
specifically
it.
All
to
right,
see
good.
Mike.
Right, which they could have called me, they could have texted me, but they didn't.
They may not have if
They
you
may
didn't
not
do that
have,
event.
Right.
If it didn't
Yep.
refresh their memory that, and again, it was something that it was not related to real estate. It was, I'm going to bring my kid to see, to go on the jungle gym and to
Right.
face paint. And it was an event. It was something for them to do on a Saturday afternoon.
Right.
And that's where, that's what kind of leads us to do these events.
Yeah.
To
The personal connection.
Right, the personal connections, to do something outside of, real estate focused.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like
Community.
it's kind of like the pie party. How often at the pie party, when you're talking to your clients that you invited there, or former clients or whatever, oh, you know what? This one may be looking, or this one may be looking to sell.
Yes.
So let's explain that. So people that are watching, they have no idea what the hell a pie party is.
Yes.
So, Maureen, I'm coming back to you because again, you're the queen
Okay.
of not only the pie party but client interaction engagement. So
So
explain
the
pie
party is an event that instead of buying a bunch of pies and dropping them off at people's houses for Thanksgiving, which is very nice as well,
Dressed up like a turkey.
right? Dressed up like a turkey,
which Gary
like
has
Gary
done multiple
has
times.
done.
Yes.
Instead
And he
of
gobbles at the door.
right, and didn't he force one of his assistants to wear a pilgrim costume one time?
Probably.
No, that I did buy the pilgrim. She wouldn't wear it. But I did bring my daughter when I was Santa Claus, and she was my elf when we went around. That was huge. That was.
Disturbing.
So anyway, pie party.
It's big.
Yeah.
So this is an event that we rent out a facility and we invite all of our clients to come. We call it a reverse pop by.
Yes.
Because
They're
they
popping by
come
us.
and we have the pies there and we have dinner and we have music and we
Mm-hmm.
have conversation. We have open bar. And it's just a great time. It kind of kicks to me. That night kicks off the holiday
Yep.
Yeah.
time period.
Honestly, that is probably my favorite night of the year.
it really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And literally people wait for us to
Yes.
send that invitation.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you had a little bit of a situation this year,
Did I?
did you not?
Did I not invite some people?
Yes, and
Oh,
then,
yeah.
and then they were upset, and then you ended up inviting them. But like, this is the thing: like, people come to expect this of us.
Right, but if you do not move or sell or refer
Right.
me, I cannot keep giving you pies.
Correct. Right. Exactly. We love you, but these delicious Orchard pies are expensive.
$17.99 a pie.
Plus the venue.
Right.
Yes.
And the food and the
Yeah.
alcohol
Right.
and everything.
It's an event.
So if you
Yes.
want a pie, refer us somebody or
Exactly.
sell a house.
Yeah.
Exactly. Honestly, that was one of my family members.
And you know what I love too is the evolution of the pie party,
Yes.
because we started out really small.
Small.
in the
Oh my
office.
gosh.
We started with just like it was
Remember
you
we
and
had,
I.
Hold on, we had like it was 3:00 in the afternoon. We
Yeah.
had like apple cider. We
Apple
weren't even
cider
serving alcohol.
and donuts, probably.
Yes, apple cider donuts.
Yeah. And that was 7 years ago.
Now it's thousands of dollars in food.
Literally,
Yeah.
Thousands
yeah.
of
But we
dollars in
also have
pie,
hundreds of people that come now.
And yeah, we had over 300 people last
Yeah.
in the fall.
It's a lot.
But, the,
people love it.
the ROI is,
Yeah.
is
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
You can't even
You
put a
can't
value on
put
it.
If you have to
value on
spend
it,
a couple
exactly.
$1,000s as an agent to participate in this, you need one transaction, not even, to get your money back.
Right.
Like that's a no-brainer.
It's
to
like
me.
that old saying, like you can't afford to do it. Well, you can't afford not to do
Right.
it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I think the pie party is probably one of the best things
Yes.
that we do in it to allow us to stay in touch with our clients.
Right. So, do you think when we do our June happy hour party, we should try to like take that to another level, like
Maybe.
almost like a pie party, but in the spring, like
Right.
a summer kickoff?
So Maureen and we also do a client appreciation event in the spring, typically at the top of Red Rock in Red Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
And
hottest day of the year.
Right.
yeah, usually it's always hot, but people love it and
Yeah.
they come out.
They do.
Really, like they always come out and they have such a good time. We have such a good time.
Yes, we do.
And it's because to me, the people that are coming to our events,
Yeah.
they become friends.
Those are
right?
clients
they're
for
not
life.
they're not just clients. These people are now our friends. Like I feel like I can call any of these people and say,
Right.
hey, do you want to go out to dinner?
Here's the thing: if they didn't want to refer you to business, they wouldn't come to the pie party.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, no one's coming for a pie. You can
Right.
buy it at the Stop and
Well,
Shop.
and even
Right.
like the Red Rock thing, like that's very inexpensive. And
Yeah, it's not
in
expensive at
terms of what you could potentially get out of it.
Right.
You know, it is very inexpensive.
Right. So, Gary, I don't think we hit you yet. Is there anything specific that you do to stay in touch with your people besides the pie party and all that kind of stuff?
Post-it notes in my head.
Post-it notes in your head.
No, I think of someone, and you know, I should be more organized in the sense of spreadsheets and like stuff like that. But you all know how my memory is.
I
But
know. I don't do this.
Yeah.
I'll be driving around and I'll say, "Oh my God, I haven't talked to them in a while." So
Right.
I might send them a text and say, I love how you painted your front door. Or, I see you got new siding, or how you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you know, things like that. I'm very at random
Yeah.
with
And
that.
it's like you just try to do your best.
Yeah.
Like last year for Valentine's Day, I bought a box of Godiva chocolate bars and I wrapped little red bows around them all and I put them in my car. And then I did eat probably half the box, but I had like 7 left, and I, either gave it to a home inspector or gave it to a client that I was showing
Right,
a house to,
right.
like anyone that I came in contact with on Valentine's Day.
What's important about what Gary does is those are genuine interactions.
Right.
So you truly liked what they did to their front door.
Yeah.
You truly
Oh,
liked
yeah.
the
Yes.
landscaping
Oh,
changes.
I wouldn't
that
lie
they
to
made.
them and say
Right.
there's
So
your
these
fuchsia
are,
front door is great. Like,
Oh no, he would do the opposite. He'd be like,
Right.
"What are you
What
thinking?
What the hell is wrong with
What
you?
are you thinking?"
which is funny because I keep driving by a former listing of mine and they didn't buy the listing, and I'm thinking about the people that bought it who had more money than anyone, and I'm like, they haven't painted the front door yet, and it's still the fuchsia front door, and I'm like, how have they not?
You know what the problem is? They probably don't use it. They probably go through the garage. A lot of people just ignore their front door because they don't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how many times you go to list a house and you're like, you need to take Frosty the Snowman welcome mat off the porch. It's July.
Or people don't have a key for the front door.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Oh, I have that. The listing right now, I have to use they have an electronic like key fob
Right.
that is inside the lockbox. And I'm like, here we go. The calls I'm gonna get from agents on how do I use this thing?
Right.
I haven't gotten it
Right.
yet, but it's only been a few hours. so.
Yeah.
All right, back on topic because
you want-
we'll go off
I was
onto
going
a
to say,
tangent.
do you want to start maybe from the beginning of, because we keep saying the word database.
Yeah.
What is a database?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think we talked
We
about it. I
didn't
mean,
even
we
talk
talked
about
about qualifying a database.
It's a
we
list.
What
we
is
talked
the
a little bit
actual
about it.
tool?
Yeah.
Like, is it a tool? Is it
Okay,
something
yeah.
in your head?
So-
is it?
I think you want to go,
I built my database over the years, pretty much. And
It's a
like
list.
when I started, it was
but you didn't
like
always have one,
No, I did not. I didn't have a database till 2012.
and you started in the business when?
1996.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was
Were
I
you- were
was
you
I born then? No, I was.
And
I think I was 5.
You just keep adding to the list as the years go on. Like if I was a new agent now, that's why when the new agents come in, I'm like, please start
thing
a
you do.
list.
Literally,
First
make a
thing
Right.
you do.
That's literally the first thing that we do when we sit with a brand new agent comes into our company and they say, "How do I even get business?" And we say, "Okay, do you have a database?" They say, "What the hell's a database?" And you say, "Okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take an Excel spreadsheet. You're going to make a couple of columns. You're going to make a column that says name, address, email, phone number. That's all you need. 4 columns. Okay? You're going to fill out. Start with the easy stuff. Your family, your extended family, your friends' family." Anyone that you know could potentially be in that database.
And it's a great way to call the people. Hey, I need your email address. Just started working for Century
Yes.
21 Thompson and Company. They told me I have to make a database of
Yeah.
all of the people that I know and things like that. I just got into real estate. I'm really
Yeah.
excited. If you know anybody looking to buy or sell, so
Yeah.
it's
You
a
know
good.
what the problem is for the new agents? They don't like that. They're scared. They don't understand it yet.
I know.
And they go, I don't want to hit up my friends and family.
But those are the people that are gonna
Like-
that trust you. They know you. They know who you are as a person.
know,
so they
I
know that
know.
you're gonna do a good job.
I know, but it has to be explained to them.
Right.
Because they immediately think like, oh, they just want a list of my
They
friends
think
and
that
family.
they're gonna think that I'm bothering them.
Yes.
Which is not the case.
Yeah, I remember when I first started investing in the financial world. You know, you get a 401k and all that stuff, and the financial advisor says, "Why don't you list your top 10 people?" And I'm like, "What, to give to you?" Like I got very
Right.
very
Right.
defensive,
Right.
and I got nervous. I'm like, "No, I'm not going to turn over my list of 10 people to, and then they're going to get constant emails
Right.
and
Right.
so that is scary to
Yeah.
do in the beginning, but you have to understand that you're doing this to the people that support you.
Yes.
So they want to help you.
Right.
And you're going to give them content. You're going to give them information that is helpful.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
It's a lot easier with people like that than you're sitting at an open house. Can I have your email
Yeah.
address?
Right.
Like,
Right.
it's a lot easier of
Right.
a conversation. It is.
Right. All right. So that's easy if you're an agent who grew up in the area that you're now serving. What if you're an agent who moved here from, I don't know, Wisconsin? You know nobody. How do you
Well,
start your database?
I only embraced people that I know like years into the business because I was the same way. I was like, I'm not going to like be begging my family and friends to use me if they
Right.
don't want to. Like I felt very like I used to pretend I wasn't even an agent. I used
Right.
to go home and put my mom clothes on before I picked my kids up from school. Then I got the memo, wear
mom
your
clothes
name
with the
tag.
name badge. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So then how did you find people?
well, floor calls.
Oh, right.
That was the thing.
That doesn't exist anymore.
so what's the
But
list
some
that we
people
have?
from my floor calls are still on my list.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What's that list we have? The barber.
Yes. So we have like
person
Oh,
literally.
I gave it out of my class
Yeah.
yesterday.
We have legitimately
Right.
like a 4-page list. It's like this is every single person that you could potentially add to your database, and it's overwhelming.
It is.
It's like
You don't think of these people until you
Right.
read through
Right.
the list, and you're like, oh wait, I could fill out I
Right.
could fill out 30 names.
Right.
right.
I didn't think of those people.
Yeah, but some of them are like out there. It's like who's
Yeah.
your grandmother's
Your
podiatrist?
landscaper.
I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah, your landscaper. Like, I'm not gonna.
Right.
Maybe I would actually. I think I did
Right.
some
Like no,
landscaper.
some of the stuff is crazy, but the people that could potentially transact with you.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody else. Maybe nobody else is following up with that person.
Here's the thing: they don't need to actually transact with you. They just need to give your
Refer you.
name out.
Right. Right. And look, people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust.
Exactly.
And if you can get
Well, that's the other thing. You do have to do a good job.
right, of course,
Yeah.
you can't be a shitty agent.
Right. Like no one's going to want to refer you if you don't do a good job for somebody.
Right. Right.
But when somebody goes back to somebody and says, "Thank you so much for referring Gary Thompson to me. He did a
Right.
great job. We're thrilled."
Whoever said that? Just
They
kidding.
all say that.
They all say that.
They all
that makes that person who sent your name out like
Confident to refer
triply
you in the
able
future.
to send your name out again.
Mike,
Yes.
you're Mr. Organized spreadsheet, like that's you.
Yeah.
So how do you do it?
So I do it by Excel, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried the other CRMs,
What's a CRM?
customer relationship management.
Very good. Yes.
I've tried the other CRMs. I've paid money. I've spent money on it. And the most inexpensive and, for me, efficient way to do it is Excel.
Yeah.
It's simple. You could upload it into different databases, whether you want to, there's a company in a website called Express Docs that they could mail out, print, actually hard copy, versions of newsletters.
Yep.
And we do that. So
That's
you
amazing.
can take
That's
your
great.
database, your 300, 400 people in your database, upload it to their website from your
Yeah.
Excel CRM, and you could quickly, for very inexpensive amount of money, send out those print mailers
Right.
monthly, bi-weekly, however frequent you want to do it.
Right.
But the main core for me is Microsoft Excel.
So do you have
Because-
like notes for all your people that are in there?
Yeah,
That you
so
know?
there's a column. Yep,
Okay.
there's a column of which I know every person on the database.
Yeah.
Intimately, I'd call it. And it's not. I don't have like a cold lead on there.
Right.
But there's a column for notes, which those notes could be anything from.
Right. What's the dog's name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
had a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that's gonna. It could be a topic of conversation.
Right.
It could be, like you said, milestones. But also, there is an important column that you do want to have is who referred that person to you, because when you see that, you could filter on Excel, and you could see that. River Giberson referred 10 people to me on
Yeah.
my database, and if I'm categorizing like Maureen is,
Yeah.
and River referred 10 A pluses to me.
I better get 2
What-
Yeti coolers then.
Right. What is River's going on vacation?
So,
Yeah.
question about that. So, when somebody does refer you, like, what do you do for the person that referred you?
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It could be let's go out for drinks. It could be come to dinner. It could be, we're gonna go to a concert together. It could be anything. That specific to that person.
Yeah.
That person may not like to do social things, and it's send them an Amazon gift card.
Right.
It could
The
be
other
anything.
thing that's really important, as soon as they refer it to you, send it to them, because it's not their fault if the referral doesn't transact.
Right.
You thank them for sending you the referral.
So they
It's
don't stop.
correct. Because if they find out that didn't work out, they'll be like, I don't want to get involved next time because I sent him a lemon or whatever. It
Right,
didn't work
right,
out. So
right.
they don't want to get involved.
That's a great point.
Right. Like sometimes people say to me, like, do you have a plumber you can recommend? I go, I have a plumber, but I'm not going to recommend him.
Right.
Because he might not call you back and he might not show up. And that's
Right.
embarrassing when
Right.
you refer somebody and then you find out that they never reached back out to the people.
True. I mean, it goes back to the point of you saying that you have to do a good job.
Yeah.
Because if somebody in your database refers you and you do a bad job, you're never getting a referral again.
Yeah. The other thing I want to tell you guys, I know that I should do this. I don't do this, but I know that you should do this. Like on Facebook or Instagram, you'll have your friends, whatever. You need to go to your Excel spreadsheet, say take 5 people a day that are on your list, intentionally go to their page and interact with them on social media.
Yeah. That's
great.
Like something, whatever, because you may not be seeing all of their stuff, because you know how there's like the algorithm that
Right.
pretty much, like, I feel like all I ever see is agents
Right. Right.
in the business.
Right. You might not know that person on your database had a baby or got married.
Right.
And,
I may not even know it's like Pat Heineker's birthday
right.
or something.
Right. And maybe that's an indication that person might want to move potentially.
Right. So if you go down your list and just make sure you intentionally go to their page and like something, say hi, whatever.
Right. Okay.
Comment, like,
Exactly.
engage.
Exactly.
Right.
Just another way to reach
It's a
out.
touch point.
Yeah, touch point.
Okay.
Yep.
How many? And I think this is where we're going to end on database management and just how to stay in touch with your people. Is there a particular amount of times that you strive to be in touch with your people per year? Is there like a certain number, or is it just? I mean, obviously you're sending the 12 mailers, the 12 emails. That's 24 right there.
That right there is set it and forget it.
Yeah.
That always happens.
Right.
But I'll admit, a lot of times I fall by the wayside. Like if I don't plan ahead, like if I don't go get like scratch off tickets to send out for St. Patrick's Day and write the cards out, like if it's March 5th, they're not going out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I wait too long, and then like you really need to plan this stuff ahead
Right.
in order to be efficient with it.
Okay. Anyone else anything? I mean, like I've read a stat that you're supposed to be in touch with somebody, like I think it's like 46 times per year.
Oh, Jesus.
The
But
same-
it's not 46 calls, right? It's like you got 12 touch points by mail, you got 12 touch points by email. That's 24 right there. Maybe 4 calls a year. Your Popeyes, like
I'm unsubscribing from that. If someone's touch pointing 46 times with me,
Agreed.
unsubscribe.
in what you mean,
That's a
like
lot.
like what?
Emailing.
Yeah, definitely email.
No, all right.
No, but he's saying
think
a
about it. So,
combination.
Yeah,
so
it's a
12,
lot.
12 pieces of mail.
Yeah, it makes
once
sense.
per month. One month, one email per month.
Mm-hmm.
There's 24 right there. Then you figure you have your client events. Maybe that's 2. Maybe you're going to call them 3 or 4 times a year just to check in.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like almost 30 right there.
right.
You know what
So
I think?
it's not that much.
One
Yeah, it's
problem
like
that I
it's
think
not
a
as
lot
much
of
as you think.
And then
agents
Facebook,
have
Instagram.
is getting back in touch with people, because like
Right.
everyone loses touch. Like you sold a house 6 years ago, you never talked to them for whatever reason. It just didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen, and then you don't run in the same circles, and you didn't whatever.
Right.
So I think
Well, I think to that point, you have to look back at how the transaction was, which it probably was great.
right,
Right.
So yeah, a lot of time has passed, but they're still gonna love hearing from you.
right, and you just put a note in the mail like it's been way too long. You popped into my head. I drove through your neighborhood the other
How
day.
the hell are you?
Whatever,
Yeah.
and you just
Right.
open the lines back up, and then get them on your list.
Yeah. And the truth is, we are friends with them during this time. I mean,
Exactly.
this is-
That's-
you know,
yeah.
we are spending an immense amount of time with these
I know.
people.
Yes.
And
It's sad. You go talking to them every day,
Every
and,
day,
and then it's
and-
like you don't.
yep.
And it's
I usually send
little
them a
sad.
text like a couple weeks later. Miss me
Miss-
yet?
yeah.
Right. Right.
Feel weird not talking. to
It is
them.
weird. It
Yeah.
is weird because sometimes you might be working with somebody for 2 years, 3
Yeah.
years. You know, you never know.
Don't say that.
Well, no, I mean it's true.
No, I know.
Multiple transactions.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. All right. So, anyone else have anything to say about following up with your database sphere, anything like that?
Maureen said, "Set it and forget it." I think
Yeah.
that's a huge thing. Automation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think you should really focus on automating and creating efficiencies.
Cool.
Yes, except like I was teaching in my class yesterday, for your A+ and your A's, those people, you don't want to just stick them on a drip campaign. That's so cold. Like that
Right.
could be like your O's, your online leads, because they may or may not reach it back out to you someday, and you can
Right.
scan back and say, what did they call in on?
Right.
And every once in a while, like a house will come up, and I'll say, who do I have for that?
Right.
So then I'll scan the list a little bit, because
Right.
if you give somebody information on a house that they don't know about,
Mm-hmm.
that's huge.
True. All right. So that's database management, sphere of influence, and how to stay in touch with your clients.
Okay.
If you want to learn more about us and our company, go to our website, www.c21thompsonco.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.